For this current fiscal year, our accomplishments, we were able to obtain a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture in their Community Facilities Program for $164,000, which went towards the recent purchase of 2 new ambulances. Along with that item, we were able to secure the purchase of 2 2020 Ford F450 four-wheel drive ambulances from Braun Ambulances Incorporated. We'll retire a 05 and 06 Ford ambulance with 200,000 miles plus on them, and we will transfer those 2 units over to Tenney's department for reutilization by putting flatbeds on them and using them for different public works activities. We successfully put 3 firefighters through the paramedic training program out at Eastern Oklahoma County Technology Center in Choctaw. The last of those 3 passed their National Registry paramedic tests. That has allowed us to increase our paramedic numbers on the department from 5 to 8. And then we also had 1 firefighter go through the advanced EMT program out at EOC Tech as well, and he has done the same thing. He's passed his National Registry written exam. And 2 grants that we also applied and received to start replacing some of our outdated radios were from the Oklahoma Office of Homeland Security in the amount of $15,702. That allowed us to replace 2 portable radios and 1 mobile radio that's installed in a vehicle. We also applied and received a grant from Plains All-American Pipeline's First Responder Grant Program to replace 2 other portable radios, and those have been received and placed in service. Using in-house labor with a couple of our guys that are licensed electricians, we were able to start upgrading our sodium lights that are out in our apparatus bay, which you guys think of a basketball gym, and those lights, when they go off, they take 30 minutes to warm back up. So if we have a power outage and the generator doesn't kick on quick enough, those lights go out and it's pitch black out there, and it takes 30 minutes for them to warm back up. Our guys providing the labor, we were able to buy LED high bay lights that have motion sensors on them. Those lights aren't on all the time, so as we walk out in the bay, they sense somebody walking out and they immediately click on them. They're much brighter, much safer, and allow us to see what we're doing a lot easier. And using the in-house labor, we were able to save quite a bit of money. Some of our goals for this next fiscal year, we've got 2 more firefighters that are actually already started in the paramedic training program over at EOC Tech in Choctaw. That would allow us to bump our paramedic numbers on the department up to 10, which would allow us to have 3 paramedics minimum on each shift. 1 shift would have a 4th one. That kind of is a twofold benefit for the city. The biggest and probably the most important is the level of care we can provide our citizens that we respond to in the event of emergency. We're able to do quite a bit of stuff in the back of the truck that even the hospital here in town cannot do. It allows us to get the proper care to those individuals and take them to where they need for their final definitive care, whether it be out here or another hospital in the metro area. The other benefit to the city is billing revenue with those advanced level skills will allow us to continually increase our ambulance revenue. In addition to that, we had planned to try to get it done and brought to you guys at a workshop this fiscal year, but due to all the time constraints and COVID, we haven't done so. That is a switch in our EMS billing provider. We've identified a firm that we believe will provide us a much better quality service than what we get with our current provider. Broken Arrow recently switched about 2 years ago from the provider we have now to this new provider, and their revenue has gone up 28%. So with that in mind, we will be bringing that to you in the coming months for a possibility to look at switching providers. Some other things we have planned for this year, a couple of projects using our Logan County's sales tax that goes to the rural fire departments, are to remount and refurbish a bed off our 2006 brush truck that has seen better days. We bought a brand new chassis for that, and we're going to have the current bed refurbished and remounted on that new chassis to try to prolong the life of that truck and get another 20 years out of it. We retire that cabin chassis, we'll turn it over to Tenney to see if his bunch needs to use that or not. We also acquired a 2004 Oshkosh military 6x6 truck to replace our current Freightliner 6x6 truck, which is a 1992 model and is really starting to show its age in terms of wear and tear. Some of the parts are getting a little bit difficult to get for that truck as well. I'll talk a little bit more about the next 2 items in our CIP priorities. Probably our number 1 priority currently is to construct a steel storage building at the fire station to store some of our apparatus and ambulances and other equipment. If you drive by our station anytime right now, there's at least 3 to 5 trucks parked outside, exposed to the weather, not able to be plugged in to keep their batteries charged up. The biggest problem, of course, is the ambulances sitting outside, trying to keep those secured, and they do have controlled dangerous substances in the form of narcotics stored on them. The other problem that I spoke of, not being able to keep these trucks plugged in, we frequently go out there and we have dead batteries. All of our trucks trucks have stuff plugged into chargers in the truck, so there's a constant drain on the battery system, and it is a lot better for the longevity of the vehicle and for efficiency to keep those trucks stored plugged in where they can keep the batteries continually charged. The other problem is the ambulances sit out there in the heat. You get in them and you go to a call and the back end's 150 degrees, and trying to keep the patient cool and the air conditioning system get caught up and cool the back of that box up is almost impossible. Our plan is to buy the building kit materials, hire out the concrete work. Public Works will do some of the site preparation and some of the floor drain and plumbing work for us. And our plan is to have our firefighters construct the building using in-house labor, also do some of the other stuff and the finishing materials inside just to keep the costs down. The other biggest priority for us is we have 3 structural fire engines ranging in years from 1991, 1997, and 2001. All 3 of those trucks are starting to show their age in terms of maintenance costs and just their roadworthiness. The 1991 truck, even though it's almost 30 years old, is mechanically the best truck we have out of those 3. The 01 truck, which is our newest one, has about 150,000 miles on it, and it's probably got 8,000 or 9,000 engine hours on it. It's starting to seep oil, and the oil analysis we had done when the oil changes were done this year shows that it's probably going to end up needing a motor. It's starting to show traces of metal in the oil. Replacing one of those trucks is probably our second highest priority right now. Only other real CIP priority that we need is our station has a standing seam metal roof, and from everything we've been told from contractors that came out is the thing wasn't assembled properly when it was put in when that station was built, and about every big rain we spring a new leak. We've had contractors come out and try to patchwork repair those leaky areas when we find them, but every one of them has told us at some point we're going to have to look at some kind of a roof coating on that entire roof to prevent further leaks and possible damage to stuff inside the station.